kind of neat that we're doing a podcast on National Lineman Appreciation Day. Yeah, and it's a podcast with a line woman.
Welcome to Line Talkers Podcast. My name's Kenny Adams, and I am the host. So a few days ago, had the opportunity to sit down with a lineman from Canada named Raelynn Hawco. And yeah, I did say lineman, named Raelynn. She prefers to be called a lineman. Ironically, the day we chatted a couple weeks back was National Lineman's Appreciation Day. I chatted with her a few times, and I always find her to be a very smart, hard-working person, but most of all, I find Raelynn to be very motivating. In the first 8 episodes, I've been very fortunate enough to have interviewed guests who are never about themselves, and they're always about supporting their trade, their coworkers, or their families. I think you'll find this episode is no different. From the outside, immediately looking at Raelynn, you'll see a beautiful young lady who loves the outdoors and a good challenge. What I've learned about her today is that all these things are true, but they just scratch the surface of what she's really all about. I've seen a lot of people in my time that are all about themselves and advancing their own careers. They work hard on advancement for themselves, but never give anything back to the trade or to others. When my girls were little, I always told them that there's 2 types of people in the world, givers and takers. And I can tell you, after you listen to this episode 9, you'll agree with me that this next guest is truly a giver. While there's no doubt that she cares about her career, she seems to care at an equal level for others, other females coming up in this crazy trade. What is and was might not always be a man's world, all because of strong, hard-working people like Raelynn who move the needle and leave things better than she finds them. Hats off to her and to all of you, other hard-working males and females in this business. No matter the job or position you hold, we're all better because of this diversity that's only possible by leaders like the one you are getting ready to meet. Here's episode 9 with Raelynn Hawco, Lineman Appreciation Day. Raelynn Hawco, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I know I asked you a minute ago, but as I mentioned, I'm from Tennessee, and I don't do a very good job of pronouncing any words, let alone last names that don't look familiar to me. I appreciate you coming on today. Ironically, today is Saturday, April, the 18th, the National Lineman's Appreciation Day. Is that right?
Yeah, you betcha.
And I've got a female line worker on the line with me. And where are you exactly today?
I'm back east in Nova Scotia, Canada, visiting my folks during quarantine. In isolation, I guess.
And just out of curiosity, I mean, everybody knows that listens to my show that I love to rub the weather into everybody's face. So I'm in Orlando, just right outside of Magic Kingdom's back door, and it's 80 today. It's going to be 91 tomorrow. So I'm just curious, what's the weather like where you're at?
It's 4.
You're going to give me that Celsius garbage, aren't you?
Yeah, it's 3 degrees Celsius, but will be 37 degrees Fahrenheit.
Did you look that up, or do you know that by heart?
I looked it up. Yeah.
Okay, because I always have to look it up too. I have no idea Celsius to Fahrenheit, but I always have to look it up. I know there's been a couple times you told me before when you and I have chatted on Instagram how cold it was, and I was like, holy cow, like literally 20, 30 below where you've been working.
Yeah, that was in British Columbia, and the Yukon territory is really cold.
I've heard you've been a guest on another podcast before, on Ryan's podcast, and I tell you, I've listened to it twice. You told me a minute ago you never listened to it, and you probably can listen to it. Tell me a little bit about, and for those who've heard that before, but I want to hear it again, about how you got started in the trade.
Well, I wasn't really doing anything, and they have like courses in the college, like trades courses, and there's a power line technician course there, so I applied on it, got into the course. Just so happens that when I got accepted to that course, my teacher was a retired lineman that I used to play soccer with and stuff. Kenny Lyle, he's a wicked instructor. We still keep in touch now, so it's pretty good. So I completed, it was a 9 month course. And once I finished that 9 month course, I was considered a first year apprentice. So I worked a little job back home in my hometown of Labrador. So I worked there for 6 months, and then I had a big job offer with a utility in Alberta. So I hopped in my truck and drove all the way across Canada all by myself and started this utility position. And I lasted that company for 2.5 years and was a second year apprentice when I finished there. Downsized the company because the oil industry, the economy went down, so they did a big bunch of layoffs. Once that was done, I started with my first contractor in Alberta. So started doing a lot of distro work and like underground work. That's where I got a lot of hands-on becoming real competent with doing underground terminations and riser poles and slices. I really enjoyed that, and I thought I was pretty good at it. I haven't done it in a long time. I kind of miss it sometimes. And then once I finished that, I made the big move to the Yukon Territory. And I worked for a utility there doing transmission and distribution maintenance. That job to me was an interesting job for learning how to like sectionalize the line, learning how to follow maps, isolating the line for contractors. And we did a lot of arm and glass change out on the transmission line, did a lot of pole change outs. It wasn't busy enough for me. Like it was just more sitting, and then you only had a little bit of work here and there. You know what I mean? And the whole 24 hours of daylight and then 5 hours of daylight in winter was kind of depressing.
Can't imagine daytime all 24 hours. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was like knowing like out blinds when it's 9 o'clock at night that you're trying to go to bed, that it's daylight, you still can't get to sleep. It was an experience. I loved it up there. Like it's unreal beautiful. Like mountains beyond mountains and so many hidden gems. Like you probably wouldn't visit the same place twice. So yeah.
I've seen some of your pictures, and they're unbelievable when you're in the Yukon working.
Starting to sit up there now, like where I'm working now, it's like you don't have those views anymore. So I really miss them. Different. So yeah, and then now I left the Yukon and went to a transmission job and worked on the framing crew, framing H-frames for a few months, and then now I'm doing a quality inspector. So that's a big change for me, and it's a different change, and it's nice to be by myself and learning the whole inspection side of the transmission. And once we get stringing, it'll be a whole new ball game of learning how to, do a quality on stringing and stuff. So I'm very excited for that. But it also, with this job being a quality inspector, like I like it. I still get to climb and stuff and fix things, and you know what I mean. So kind of convenient for the company as well, not getting a crew to come fix stuff.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds, I guess. Yeah. You might say.
By myself and still get to climb.
Yep. I just got a question for you. Why did you choose this business? Did it choose you? Did you just see an opportunity, or how much thought did you put into when you made the decision to go to the school? Was it something that you did for the adventure, for the money? Where did you see yourself when you started?
I never really thought about it. I just was at the point in my life where I feel like I wasn't doing anything with my life, and my parents were on my case. So I just applied to a couple courses at the college, and that's the one I got into. So I had no idea what I was getting into. I knew I had friends that were in the trade and they spoke highly of it. So I just gave it a shot. And in my first week or so in school, and I just felt like I fit in and that I loved it and that I was doing good. I had really had top marks in school, and I was doing really well in the field side of it. And it was nice to have my uncle in my class with me too. So
that's cool.
Yeah, we stuck together and helped each other out. So like where I was lacking, he was better at. He was lacking, I was better at. So we kind of fit it together.
I heard your little sister in the background a second ago, and you're at your parents' house now due to the coronavirus, and you're quarantined at your parents' house. I just got to ask this question. You said your parents were on your case at the time when you got to school. I bet your parents are on your case still about something, just not that now. They're probably parents, right?
Yeah, they're on my case now about doing renos before I leave. An extra hand around the house. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. My
that's
sister,
for they have.
my sister's 7. Imagine that. I'm
Yeah,
33, my sister's 7.
that's quite the age difference there
Yeah.
for
27
siblings.
years.
That's pretty cool. I have an employee on my team who moved from Texas, and she lives at the beach now with her parents who are retired. And I don't know if she's going to make it through this quarantine or not. I don't know if they're going to kick her out, if she's going to make
No.
it, because she's an adult as well. But she's when we're all grown adults, and then we move back in with our parents for a little bit or stay with them or whatever. I know I did with my mom and my stepdad after my divorce, and I'll tell you, uh, it's very difficult on everybody.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
This is a different. It's better to be safe than sorry, but it's different being cooped up in the house. That's for sure. I'm
yeah,
so very outgoing. I'm a very outdoorsy person. Like, uh, I can't. I don't have my own truck here, so it's hard to be able to come and go as I please.
right.
So, and like, it's nice for me to actually be home. Like, usually I probably come home twice a year and see my folks, and it's for a week at a time. So, this is a nice change for me to actually be home and actually spend some good quality time with them. So,
Hmm.
for me, like, that kind of thing does the heart good because I don't get that. I've been away on my own for 7 years. So, life on the road is tough.
Yeah, your parents probably, all kidding aside, they probably enjoy having you home, and
Oh,
you probably
yeah.
are eating a lot better now than what you are when you do with it when you're traveling.
I haven't stopped since I have got home. I'm just sick of food. Oh, I'm like a big chip person too. So
Yeah,
chip, I'm sick of chip.
yeah. Hey, so a question for you about when you were in the school, and I imagine in the school they probably you sat in a lot of classroom environment. The linemen, the trainers there, the instructors probably shared with you what to expect in the industry. But when you got out of the school and went to work for a utility, I think you said, were they right about what they said? Was it better than what they said? Worse than what they said? What did, like, when you stepped foot out the door and actually started working in the trade, were you surprised, or were you just getting what you expected all along?
Well, when I left school, I went and just worked a few months with this new like construction company. It was me and like two other apprentices, and like I just feel like I think I went to the wrong place at the wrong time because it was just very discouraging. They didn't want a female on their crew, you know what I mean? So if they wanted one of the apprentices to climb, it would be one of the two guys. It wouldn't be me. You know what I mean? So, and then over the years, like sometimes it would be some discouragement like that, but I think after so many times, like I would never say anything. And then once I got more further into my apprenticeship, I learned how to, speak up for myself. But then a lot of the times, like you'll have people that are discouraging and don't want you around, but I try to think of that as a challenge. So me, the more they try to discourage me and try to like push me away from the trade, to me that was more of a challenge that I'm gonna excel and do better and not let these people push me around. And then you have other people that not discouraging but pushers, but they're pushing you because they know what you're capable of and they want to see you do better. You know what I mean? Like so, it's just they want to just basically they're priming you to be tougher and what you're going to look for in this trade and just know that what you're capable of. And I just, hard to explain because I'm thinking
No,
ahead of stuff, you
no,
know?
you actually did a very good job explaining it. You did, and that my next question was what challenges did you see when you came up, and led right into that and answered a few of them. So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think the good ones, and when I say the good ones, the people that have helped you along the way once you've been in this business, do you think they actually see male or female or black or white or
No.
whatever? I mean, they don't see you as a woman?
No, I just think they just, there's now it's hard to actually really think about stuff like that because there's more women getting into the trades, into the workforce, right? But I just think of them, just think of me as a coworker and as a friend. And You know, when you work with good coworkers, you know, you have a good buddy system, you want to see the other person shine just as much as they want to shine. So, you know what I mean? You have a buddy system. You